So today we're going to talk about cardiac arrest and how that correlates to your heart rate. So cardiac arrest is when you have an electrical short or the heart starts to beat irregularly, and it stops the flow of blood the way it needs to circulate through your body, which means that oxygen isn't getting passed through or circulated through your body in the way it needs to. So to do that, we first want to take our pulse. And to take your pulse, you just want to use 2 fingers and look for your the beat that you can feel, like your heart beating on your wrist. So you take your 2 fingers, you press in this area of your wrist, and you can feel at that artery a beat. So you want to count how many times you feel the beating in 10 seconds. After you get that number, multiply that by 6. That will give you how many beats your heart is beating in a minute. You're going to repeat that step after you walk for about 1 minute. So just take a walk down the hallway or in your room casually for 1 minute, and then take your pulse again. After you take your pulse, you should see a change from the first time you did it when you were just resting to the second time after you've walked. You're gonna do it a third time. You can do some jumping jacks, you can just move your arms, but something that's a little bit more intensity than just walking. After you do that for about a minute, you wanna go ahead and take your pulse a third time. You can just count how many beats in 10 seconds, multiply that by 6. So you should have 3 different heart rates. 1 for resting, 1 for walking, and 1 for a little bit more intensity exercise like jumping jacks. If you cannot complete jumping jacks, don't fret, just do a high intensity move, something that's a little bit more intense than walking. So you can move your arms, you can move a little bit faster. Once you've collected your data, you want to input that information into your chart. You will see that there's a space for resting, walking, and then whatever that vigorous exercise may be. You'll input in the second column what your heart rate was. So what was your resting heart rate? That's that number times the 6, what you counted in the 10 seconds multiplied by 6. You'll do that for both resting, walking, and then that exercise. So in the third column, you want to calculate your percent change. You can do that by taking your walking heart rate, which could be 100. Subtract your resting heart rate, let's say it's 68, and then divide that number by your resting heart rate, which would be the 68. Multiply that by 100, and that would be your percent change. You won't have a percent change for the resting column because that's our baseline, but you will have one for how it changed from resting to walking, and then walking to the vigorous exercise. So now you can see how much faster your heart is beating as you do more intense exercises. So you can build an appreciation for how fast your heart is beating. Take your stress ball or anything that you can squeeze, and I want you to squeeze the ball as many times as your heart was beating in that minute. So if your resting heart rate was 68, squeeze the ball 68 times. If your walking heart rate is 200, see if you can squeeze that ball 200 times in 1 minute. Ready, go. You'll need 3 bottles of water for this experiment. The first bottle, you drill 1 hole at the top of the cap. In the second bottle, you'll drill 2 holes. And in the third bottle, you'll empty the water, and you don't need a cap for that one at all. Once you have the bottles of water laid out, you'll then take your straws and connect them. So you should have 4 straws in total. You'll put the straws together to make basically 2 longer straws. You insert the straw from the bottle with 1 hole into the second middle bottle that has 2 holes, and then you connect the second straw in the second hole, and then it leads into the bottle that doesn't have a lid at all. Then you use your Play-Doh to seal the holes to make sure that water can't leak out of your bottles. And once those holes are sealed, you can pinch the straws that are in between the bottle that has 1 hole and 2 holes. You pinch right in the middle and squeeze the middle bottle. What you'll notice is that water will start to flow into the third bottle, and that mimics how your blood flows through your heart when it's beating. Please share with us your videos and pictures to the Gaskins Foundation website. We are looking forward to seeing your heart model and you conducting this experiment.